Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down the musical DNA behind one of the absolute biggest pop culture debates we've had in a long, long time. We're talking about Miley Cyrus's record-breaking smash Flowers, and its supposed connection to Bruno Mars's decade-old hit, When I Was Your Man. People have literally been arguing about this for months, so today, we're officially ignoring the gossip, and we're going to dive straight into the actual science of the sound to figure out what's really going on under the hood of these two massive tracks.
Okay, let's get right into it. There's a lawsuit filed by Tempo Music Investments claiming that Miley Cyrus flat out ripped off Bruno Mars. The claim actually says that Flowers duplicates numerous melodic, harmonic, and lyrical elements of When I Was Your Man. And yeah, they're seeking some very serious statutory damages for this alleged infringement. So our goal today is a full-on myth-busting investigation. We're going to put these two tracks side by side to see if they are actually musical twins or if this whole controversy is just a very, very clever illusion. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The ripoff rumor. 2. A tale of two tempos. 3. Chords and musical structures. 4. Comparing the melodies. And 5. The slingshot effect. Notice how we're purposely skipping the endless lyrical gossip today? That's because we're here to systematically compare the objective musical math, layer by layer. Let's see what the sheet music actually says. Section 1. The ripoff rumor, smoke without fire? Now look, we have to acknowledge the smoke here. Ever since Flowers dropped, the internet has just been flooded with these incredibly seamless mashups, blending the two songs perfectly together. But that brings us to a really vital question, right? Is it a ripoff, or is it just a rhythmic illusion? Does the metic similarity automatically equal musical theft? The truth is, just because two songs mash up beautifully online doesn't actually mean they share the same musical DNA. I mean, you can find viral mashups of completely unrelated artists. Like, think the heavy metal band Slipknot blended with the soul duo Gnarls Barkley, and wild enough, they sound incredible together. A mashup really just proves that songs can be creatively layered. It definitely doesn't prove they were copied. What we're actually seeing here perfectly highlights what music experts call an answer song. So an answer song is a track written as a thematic counterpoint to an existing one. It responds to the lyrics or the overall mood of the original, but, and this is absolutely crucial, it doesn't sample the audio and it doesn't interpolate the actual musical composition. It simply borrows a conceptual idea, flips the perspective, and then creates an entirely new sonic blueprint to house that new idea. Section 2, A Tale of Two Tempos, Comparing the Beat. Let's start building our case by comparing the foundational heartbeat of both of these tracks. Let's feel out this beat for a second. Bruno Mars's When I Was Your Man is a classic, emotionally heavy piano ballad. It crawls along at just 73 beats per minute. Now, the slower tempo allows for a lot of what musicians call rubato, which is this expressive, emotional push and pull of the timing. It gives the whole song this slow, almost painful walking pace as he sits there reflecting on his regrets. But Miley, she flips the script entirely. Flowers clocks in at a super upbeat 118 beats per minute. It completely transforms that sad, emotional walk into a fast, driving, highly confident strut. At this speed, the song relies on a classic disco 4-on-the-floor beat. That completely shifts the physical energy away from melancholic reflection, turning it into a propulsive, forward-moving dance track. So you're basically looking at two completely distinct musical species here. On one side, a stripped-back, emotional piano ballad. On the other, a mid-tempo disco funk track with this killer driving bass line. They occupy entirely different sonic spaces. Honestly, they aren't even built to do the same job. Section 3. Chords and musical structures, the harmonic foundation. Since we know the tempo is completely different, let's dig into the actual sheet music and see if it reveals any of that alleged copying. Now, here is where the structural math really diverges. Yes, both songs are in the key of C, and yes, both songs start with an A minor chord. But here's the reality check. There are literally tens of thousands of sad pop songs that start on an A minor chord. It's what happens immediately after that first chord that matters, and these two drastically diverge. Bruno uses this sprawling, super complex progression full of D minors and D7s. Miley's progression, it's a tight, repetitive disco loop, moving from A minor 7 to C to G to C major 7. Harmonically speaking, they just don't line up at all. It's super vital to remember how copyright works here. Individual words and lyrical themes, you can't copyright those. What can be legally protected are specific melodies and underlying chord structures. So, while swapping the lyric "buying you flowers" for "buying myself flowers" is culturally brilliant,
brilliant, the underlying structural math of these two songs just does not match up enough to call it theft. Section 4. Comparing the melodies, vocal delivery. Let's completely strip away the chords and the drums for a second and look exclusively at the notes carrying the song. What are the singers actually doing? Well, if we analyze the vocals, Bruno Mars's melody makes incredibly complex use of his massive, sweeping vocal range. It's highly rhythmic, it dances all around the scale, and it climbs to these huge, soaring heights. Miley, on the other hand, relies on a very steady, purposely simplistic quarter-note delivery. It's almost chant-like, right? She uses this repetitive, limited-range melody as a steady mantra to deliver her message of self-reliance, instead of going for theatrical heartbreak. Okay, this brings us to absolutely my favorite part of the whole production, the flying mirror. In Flowers, there's this oboe-like synth playing in the background. Musical analysts actually call this a nano hook, or a melodic responder. Basically, it fills the negative space right after Miley finishes singing a phrase. In the first verse, it starts off sounding like a pensive thought bubble, kind of mimicking a person looping a memory in their head. But as the song progresses into the chorus, that synth evolves into an active rephraser. It confirms her independence, acting almost like a confident musical shadow that's agreeing with her self-love. You won't find anything even close to this in Bruno's track. Finally, Section 5, the slingshot effect, masterful production. Let's break down the studio techniques that make Flowers feel so incredibly propulsive and uniquely powerful without stealing an ounce of its groove from the past. Think about the physics of a groove for a second. In a standard pop song, the chorus almost always hits hard on beat 1, the downbeat. But producers Kid Harpoon and Tyler Johnson did something genius. They purposely left beat 1 completely empty. By creating this momentary vacuum of silence on the very first beat of the chorus, they effectively pull back a slingshot. So when that syncopated slap bass finally hits on beat 2, boom, the projectile is released. It hits you with this explosive forward momentum that creates an undeniable, sudden feeling of joy. And this creates a brilliant double expectation. See, we are culturally wired to expect a traditional musical climax at the chorus. In a breakup ballad, that usually means a huge crescendo of pain with soaring, crying vocals. But Flowers gives us an unexpected shock. Instead of delivering that standard pour me climax, the song ironically pivots. The sudden silence, followed by that super funky bass, outright denies us the cliché sadness and launches us directly into a disco-funk realization of self-love. It is a complete emotional subversion. And if we look even closer, the sonic DNA of that slingshot bass line is just a fascinating global mix. Sure, it's driven by a classic 1970s four-on-the-floor disco kick drum, but the bass itself is played with this staccato twang that heavily borrows from country music as well as Mexican norteño and Tejano styles. All of that is bouncing around underneath these flamenco-reminiscent strings. It's this rich cross-cultural gumbo that serves an entirely different musical purpose than Bruno's traditional piano chords. Which brings us right back to the lawsuit. The lead attorney for Tempo Music Investments famously stated, simply put, where there's smoke, there's fire. But as we've completely broken down today, while there is definitely undeniable thematic smoke linking these two songs, the lyrical nods, the whole concept of an answer song, our layer-by-layer investigation shows absolutely no actual musical fire. The tempos, the chord progressions, the vocal melodies, and the rhythmic production are fundamentally, structurally different from the ground up. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. If a song borrows a mood or brilliantly responds to a cultural conversation, but it has to invent an entirely new musical DNA to actually do it, is that inspiration or is that infringement? It's a really complex line between a clever cultural response and a legal copyright claim. Just remember, next time you hear an awesome mashup online, try to listen just a little bit closer to the math underneath. Thank you so much for exploring the anatomy of these hits with me, and I'll see you in the next explainer.